welcome to 2 Minutes for Roughing. I'm Matt Torgerson. As always, I've got Christian Gardecki with me. And then today, two new guys. Well, not new, really. We got Trevor Babin and we got Noah Wild, both from the Delaware Thunder. Welcome to the show, boys.
Thank you for having us.
So wicked happy to have you guys both on here. Noah, of course, you're one of my clients here through MPH Sports Management. Even cooler to have you also on the show. Not that Babin isn't cool. So we're just going to go a little bit easy here. We'll start off with the first big question here. Most notably, it was your first full season for both of you guys going pro. I mean, Trevor's had some experience there with Battle Creek and a little bit there with Elmira. Babs, your first full year as a starter.
Yep.
How'd that feel to finally get into that starting role finally with a team that had faith in you?
It was just my time coming. I feel like with everything that was going on personally, I mean, I was kind of just waiting for that moment to happen and just all the hard work that I kept putting in, and I knew it would finally pay off, and it only took 1 or 2 games to finally get that starting role. So it was really good. Exactly.
And Noah, I mean, you stepped in on a team that was starving for blue line attention. I think you did a fantastic job of stepping into that role. How did it feel to be one of the more relied upon guys on the blue line in your first year?
Honestly, it was interesting because I started off as a forward and then I got put back on the blue line, which I don't know, I felt comfortable with. I played center in college, but it kind of is like, the third defenseman almost. But I felt more comfortable back on the blue line. Just I thought I saw the game better.
Right.
And I feel like I could control the game a little bit more too. I was playing a lot with Alex Basie, so that kind of helped me a lot to kind of get under his wing. He's been around the league for years, so it was a pretty good mentor to have. And just playing in front of Babs too, that was see some crazy saves every night. So you can guarantee it. You'll see a split save, some crazy glove save. So, I mean, it was a fun year for us, that's for sure.
Yeah, Babs might not like it, but we call him the spaghetti kid in our house.
Hey, I got a bunch of nicknames for my flexibility.
I don't doubt it. So Christian, you want to talk a little bit with Noah about Post U?
Yeah, so you played at Post, which is up in Waterbury. I'm a Danbury guy, so that's right down the road. You guys played out to Shelton. Played for Coach Whitney. Also played for Fed legend Tim Richter. What was that like? For that 1 year at Post? And then now you guys have a bunch of guys playing in the Fed. Lugo at the end of the year with Danbury, and Brandon Brown was down in Columbus. So talk about the growth of that program, especially because they're a newer program in Division 2/3, and how it's grown to starting to get guys in pros now, especially like you too.
When I first got there, it was a challenge. First year of team, just getting players from all over the place, but. The second year, my sophomore year, you started seeing a lot of growth where like some junior teams, some guys are coming from higher end places. My junior year, that's where like I felt like the team really took off because we were over 500. We were playing very well. We had some good players. And then senior year, kind of, same thing. You just kind of like a steady team. And then when I left and I signed with Delaware and COVID happened, they did very well recruiting wise. And I saw that, they went to the championship this year. They lost, unfortunately, but they had a good run. Their coaching staff with Tim Richter and Coach Whitney, like they have a lot of knowledge. Whitney, being with the Gunnery for a while and then Post, like he's got endless knowledge. And then Tim Richter just being, the younger, like been in multiple leagues. He's a good coach to have. And then, playing against, like when I saw Lugo and Brownie, it was kind of nice just to see, just because, I've been, 4 years with those guys. I had Jake Raleigh play with us in Delaware Thunder for, I think it was 4 games. Yeah, he was my so Lugo and Raleigh were my line mates for a while. So I tried to get Lugo to come for a few games in Delaware, but he got snaken away by Danbury. But it's right by home for him, so it was easy. Yeah. But I was really happy to see them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. It's definitely cool. The one cool picture was from the last game, or one of the last games of the year. It was Carolina Danbury, I think it was, where it was Brown and Lugo. Picture them together, so that was cool.
Yeah.
And one of my buddies is playing for them now, actually. Alex Fernandez, Danbury guy as well. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Babs, I'm gonna bring it up. I'm sure you're kind of overkilled with it. You were at the Rumble Bees. You went from playing for the Rattlers and doing really well there. I've spent a good chunk of time watching your highlight reels, scouted you virtually online too. What was the transition like going from, Battle Creek into Elmira and then from Elmira into Delaware this year? Were there really big gaps in the way they were professionally run?
The way I took it, it was kind of easy to transition into that because I always took it as just it's always the same game. Yeah. I mean, the higher up you go, it does get a little bit faster, a little stronger, but I feel like just the more hard work you put in, it's the same every game. But I think it was more of a challenge for me coming from Elmira to Delaware this year with everything happening because I got injured last year. I tore my groin.
Yeah.
So I didn't even get to play or show anybody what I could do. And that was kind of demoralizing because it was like I was just sitting on the sidelines doing nothing. Like no one knew me. No one knew who I was. Like all this. I had 2 games in Battle Creek and that was it. Like I couldn't talk nothing. I couldn't, so the transition to actually make a name for myself, transitioning from Elmira to Delaware was probably more of a challenge, but went into it the same way. Every game's the same. You have to go into it just like that. So
exactly. And like with that mentality, and then getting into Delaware this year, it took a bit, but you finally got that first win, first career win. What were you thinking, like just going into it day by day as things were slowly, steadily improving for Delaware? Were you thinking it was going to come soon, or were you starting to maybe lose a little bit of hope at one point?
Let's just say the love of the game's still there. So no matter every time we practice game, no matter what it was, I was always excited to play. Yeah. I knew I was always going to give it my all and always going to show that I could play the game.
Yeah.
So I always, as long as I had that mentality, I mean, whether it was a loss, I get frustrated, whatever, but I just wanted to win for the boys and for my team. And that's all I really wanted. And I just kept a level head, and no matter what was happening, I just stuck to myself and just kept moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, great mentality to have. I think that's always been one of your strong points is, just keeping yourself directly focused in on the game. Speaking of games too, I'm going to bring this up, Noah. We call it the shift for a reason. I don't think there's anybody in the league, and I take it from me, I've watched pretty much every team play almost every night that they have. But the shift, I mean, you injured your wrist on it. You plowed MJ Graham into the ice. Babs had a front row seat to that. Blocked another shot with your leg.
I get a lot of front row seat stuff to Noah's shenanigans.
Exactly. It just shows to me the dedication that you have to your team, your teammates, and the fans. How did you get through that? Was that all just adrenaline or what?
Pretty much. I mean, pretty much. Like, when it happened, like I went to block the shot and I palmed it. Like I tried to palm it, like coming across, and it actually broke my hand. So like it shattered my hand. And I was like, all right, this is not good. So I got in the corner, like after blocking the shot, and I go, all right, something's not right now. I just like my hand's just like throbbing, and like it just like it felt like it was just like moving in 2 different spots if you think about it.
Yep.
And like a damn boxing mitt.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then I just got up. I was like, all right, nothing's hurt like leg or headwise, so just keep going.
Yeah.
And then just try to block the shot, just try to get it out of the zone as quick as possible. I saw MJ.
All right. Well, you can.
Sorry about that. No, I got kicked.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, so I saw after blocking the shot, I saw MJ with his head down. So I was like, yeah, I'll try to pop him, try to see if I could like go through him and have the puck hit my foot or something so I can kick it out. But I just ended up hitting him, and then fast forward, MJ tries to push me again, and it pushes me into the shot and then hits me in the other hand. I was like, all right, this is just not going well.
No.
And then And then out of like 2 seconds later, he has a great pass across. I think it was Ian White, and I think Babs gets a piece of it to go out of play. And I had like a moment of like a breath, just like, all right, let me just get back to the bench and just get this figured out with. And then went to the trainer, and she goes, yeah, your hand looks like it's pretty broken right now. I go, it does not feel great. And then I taped it up, finished the game, and then went to the doctors, and they said it was broken. So I took 2 weeks and came back.
Yeah.
Now I'll ask you guys this. So this coming season, there's be a lot of changes to the league, expansion, what can the league improve upon, and what does adding these 3 new teams potentially do for the talent pool? And, especially for you, Trevor, you have a unique view because, goaltending is tight league wide. There's a lot of guys going for, now it's going to be 20, 25 spots now.
I mean, I think it'll be good for the league, just like you said, more spots, more opportunities. I think the competition will be more spread out. It'll be more even, more exciting, all those things. I mean, more spots open, like you said. So I think it'll be good for the league.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more intense, too, next year. I feel like the play is definitely going to pick up. I feel like it's going to be more exciting to watch. And, it definitely grow the fan base even more.
And what do you guys think about going to a warm climate now in Mississippi when that road trip happens?
Sounds pretty nice.
I mean, it's right on the beach, too. It's right on the beach.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'll be by the water.
We enjoyed our time in Columbus, too, because, that was just a whole different, world for us. Yeah. Going from freezing in Delaware down to Columbus, I was like, all right, this is a kind of nice change. And then three games, got to kind of just hang out for 2 days. Pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's real nice.
And so now with these 3 new teams brings in 3 different ice surfaces to the whole thing. I know Trevor, you skated a little bit in Elmira, so maybe you can speak a bit about their ice, but currently, who do you think actually has the best ice in the league? Seeing as it was a bit of a subject this year, Danbury had ice issues there to the point where you can see right through the concrete. Sorry, Christian, I had to throw it out there.
I know it's bad.
Who has the best ice right now, do you guys think?
I mean, ice-wise,
I think Binghamton had pretty nice ice. It was good ice to skate on. But I'm not gonna lie, I think Delaware did a pretty good job on their ice.
I was just about to say Delaware's ice was pretty good. Facility-wise, okay, whatever. It's not up to par with everybody else, but ice-wise, it was
they
nice.
kept it at top shot. It was top notch.
Yeah. And then the other thing for the playoffs, that was kind of a hot button subject, especially in Watertown. Goal pegs. What's going on with goal pegs in this league? Because I know in Watertown the net was popping off every 3 plays. And I know it's not all
happening in Delaware every damn game too. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Danbury has had the issue for years. They had the professional pegs in Danbury, and even with those and the professional nets they have, because I played there and they had different nets, but even with that stuff, they still have issues too.
I would get if there's a play where a goalie's going cross crease and he slid into the post and net comes off, whatever. But you're just having a regular post play and you push off or whatever. I don't know how these other goalies sometimes knock the net off left and right.
Yeah, I mean, 2 leagues right now, this past year that had really big goal peg issues was actually the ECHL and then the Fed. And the ECHL had a bigger issue with it in a couple of their arenas than the Fed did. But it was a hot button subject for a little bit there in the playoffs for Watertown. People going into Watertown to play were freaking out. Oh, the goalie's knocking it off, and we had a goal scoring opportunity. Why isn't the ref blowing the play dead? And things like that. So I was wondering if it was every arena is using a different goal peg setup, or if they're all kind of.
I got no idea. I remember it took me a little bit to actually get the ice crew at Delaware. I'm get the pegs that have the 2 spikes in them. You just got to set it once and then put the net on top, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Shit don't move for the rest of the game.
Yep.
So I don't know. Nobody else understood that, or got those
pegs.
Hey,
so. I did it for you in practice. Come on.
Hey, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general when it comes game time, and then the net gets knocked off when we're about to score. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Christian, it's your turn to bring up the fights.
So Trevor, you had 4 fighting majors. I think 4 or 5 fighting majors this year. Had one earlier in the year, and then I was actually broadcasting a game, filling in for Josh and Jim with my good friend Zach McGinnis, former 2-time Federal League broadcaster of the year. And we did the game, and then Joe Pell runs in. He's an old 37-year-old, veteran guy who hadn't played in 10 years. He runs into you. Yeah. Oh, he only played 1 game that year. Before that, runs into you. So then you get into it with him later in the game. I can't remember who it was, but Dustin Jesso. So you get a 5 major for that. And then 2 minutes later in the period, Dustin Jesso spears somebody in Delaware. And then you run over out of the crease and at him. Just talk about that game, especially, and then we'll get into the Liskowitz fight as well. But talk about that game. Is that one of the crazier games for you, or is that just like another day in the office?
Just another day in the office, man. I like to approach the game just like I'm just another player. Just because I have more padding on to stop the puck don't mean I'm not gonna do those things. Like, I don't know. If I was a player, I'd be doing that shit. You know what I mean? So
right, of course.
I just at the time of the game too, I don't even know what the score was, whatever, but there was a lot of beef going on with a few of the players going back and forth and stuff like that. So just more being there for my teammate. That's all it was. I mean, as long as I'm there doing that, I'm fine. I know I got to stop the puck and worry about that. I know, but I'm still that kind of player too. I could definitely shit talk and stand up for my teammate.
and after that second fight, Lucchese got tackled down by the linesman after that too. And then you got tossed. And I joke about it too with the linesman, Chris, who's a local guy. But then you got tossed, and as you're skating off, how there's the tunnel behind the bench, you just put your stick up and wave towards section 102. And I just want to ask both you guys, what is that experience like at Danbury with section 102? I know it's not the same section 102 as you may have seen in the Trashers movie, but there's still some hardcore fans there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, I think it's great for the game. I love it.
Yeah.
I love when they chirp, like if they're chirping the bench or something like that, and they're just trying to get a rise out of us. And I'll just like turn around for a second to look at them just to see what they're doing. And I've seen some crazy stuff this year, but like I tried my best to not have it to play a role in it, but like I'll get a chuckle and just go back into the game and get it focused. But like they're creative.
I'd be laughing sometimes, man.
One of the great stories was this is like 10 years ago. One of the 102 guys went around, because you have to go around to get to the penalty box, and it's under that overhang. So Ahmed Mahfouz is in the box. This is 10 years ago. Mahfouz in the box, and you guys know how Mahfouz is. He's very vocal, and the guy said something to him, and Mahfouz stepped out of the box because there's the door right there. Opened the door and stepped out of the box and tried to fight the fan.
I mean, if he says some disrespectful shit, I would do the same thing.
Which he did. Which he did. There's a video of it.
So yeah, I mean, if it gets personal, but other than that, just keep away from the bullshit.
One of the unexpected things for me, I guess, at the beginning of the year watching you play, Noah, was out of nowhere, you're this guy dropping the mitts and feeding guys knuckle sandwiches a couple times this season. There's a game you guys had, I can't remember the name of the player, but Carolina had come to town, and you were just giving this guy uppercuts like it was a Mike Tyson boxing match. He couldn't move. You had one hand on top of his head, just giving it. Is that something we're going to see more from you as the year comes on, or are you going to go back to, the skill making plays and things like that? Or is that 50-50 for you?
I mean, I'm definitely not going to shy away from it. If the opportunity presents itself, I'll do it. Yeah. It was kind of like, what really triggered me to do that was like the first game of the season, or my first game pro ever. Yeah. I adjusting, kind of getting a feel for what the game is, everything. Second shift, I just get an elbow to the nose and I snap my nose. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to be a little bit more a little bit more mean and dirty here. So I was like, you know what, I'll start throwing, just kind of get the respect factor. And honestly, like, you can get the respect factor after you do it. It was kind of nice because it opened up more for me. So, I won't shy away from it, but I'm honestly not going to look for it. So I would like to keep playing the game, playing a regular game, just a little more skillful. But if the opportunity is there and it presents itself, I'll definitely like play with it a little bit.
Yeah, it seemed like you and Basie were the Bash brothers. Little D3 reference there for you. I mean, like the two of you, I mean, I'm not going after Babin and knowing that he's back there to punch me in the head with a blocker, but you got Basie's ready to ring your bell, and you got Noah ready to Captain Caveman you into the next century. So that's a scary trio back there for most teams.
I was definitely when Basie came back from, I think it was Peoria for Vermilion, like there was around him, and I was really excited to get to be his teammate. And first year being pro, like he definitely helped like guide it out for us, and he was also my roommate, so it definitely like it was nice. Like it was a good like kind of brother relationship, and he's like kind of taught me stuff on like I started picking up the fighting, and we were working on some things just tactical wise, and it's he's a great person on and off the ice, so I'm definitely really happy that we became teammates this year. So I mean, there were some chants and stuff like that from the Delaware faithful that saying that it's the Bash brothers, or like pick on him, you'll pick on his brother. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, that makes sense. So. It was a good year to at least watch the Thunder play it out this year. The team, in my opinion, you guys seem to like get on this huge wave. I almost wish that there was like another 10 games left in the season, just so you guys can knock Port Huron out of that last playoff spot, because fuck them. I'm sure Joe Bates is going to yell at me for saying it, but I mean, in that time period, I really wanted to see Delaware get into the playoffs and do some damage, because I think at that point, cohesively, you guys were doing better than them.
Yeah, I always said I wish all that shit was happening at the beginning of the season.
Yes, yeah.
I really do, because we would have started winning. We would have started. I don't know. It was just we were on a roll, losing and winning, but like we were just getting better, and that was the best part.
Yeah.
And like the first month, it was frustrating, obviously, but like we were going through so many different players at the time, and then like we started finally kind of figuring out like the right like formula and everything like that. Going from like day one of training camp, there was only 4 guys from training camp from the last day of the season. So like it like
Casey
and Cangelosi
and
Marker. So five guys.
Okay.
So like it's like going through all of that, and like if we had like a core kind of like that, but of like 10 guys, it would be a whole completely different season.
Yeah.
Like we wouldn't be like going home right away. We would actually have a pretty good record, I would think, and we would actually be in the playoffs competing for something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one of the guys that you guys did add was Colton Mcguire, who's now one of the newer clients for MPH. He got in there for 11 games with you guys, and he's still looking for another opportunity. I think he's a good kid that fit in fairly well. I mean, you don't get 11 games for no reason, right?
I like how he played.
Yeah, exactly. So
he's a good puck rushing defenseman too. He sees the ice very well. He's got a lot of IQ. I kind of wish he was with us the whole season, because I think he would have had even more of a breakout.
Yeah.
Because with each game he got more confident with the time on the ice.
So I know
you talk about this.
Go ahead, Chris.
And you talk about this team. You guys have had a lot of veterans come in and out. You mentioned Alex Basie. Ryan Marker, while he's still particularly young, he's a veteran because he's been around this league for a while. You also had some guys come in and out, like David Segal, who's this SPHL fighting legend. He came in for a couple games, got into one with Schmitty. And then you also had Shane Morrissey come in towards the end of the season as well. So what was it like having those guys for what they do on and off the ice?
Well, one name that I want to mention too is Yanni Larakos. He definitely helped.
Yanni. Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Yanni was also one of my roommates. He, again, great guy on and off the ice.
Yanni was not a good example.
Yeah, he just helped show what it is to be a pro. Shane Morrissey came to games and like he just was lights out. I thought he was a very good player. Joe Devney came to the team for a bit. I thought he was very good. These are good characters to have on the team. I wish they were there at the beginning of the year, but obviously they're coming from other teams and stuff like that. But I think they helped guide the team very well. And also Kyle Stevens. Kyle Stevens was great when he was there.
Yeah.
That's a tough kid too. He's such a tough kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember when I first played against Steve-O in Binghamton, and I looked at Steve-O and I was like, "Yo, let's just drop the gloves right now and let's fight. Let's just do it." He just goes, "You crazy?" I go, "Yeah, a little bit. Let's just do it though. It'll be fun."
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, no, maybe not." And when he came to Delaware, first practice, I was like, "You want to fight now?" He goes, "Dude, we're teammates." I go, "Yeah, you're right."
So I like to end every show a little bit on a fun note here. My team's not in the playoffs. Neither is Christian's. Neither is Trevor. No, I'm not too sure who you're a fan of. But with the remainder of the playoffs going on right now, who's your pick in the East and who's your pick in the West to make the finals?
I mean, for the East, I know you want Tampa. I know. But I'm thinking Florida, just because they got Giroux, I got Bobrovsky. I mean, if Tampa does win, then I want them to go for the three-peat, but definitely Florida.
Yeah,
I'm a big Carter Verhaeghe guy. He played here in Bridgeport actually, so he's definitely someone I really like watching, and great to see him in the NHL after battling through going from the coast to the A to the NHL. Obviously,
it's tough to see Garcelle get rid of him. He was an Islander for a bit, or prospect for the Islanders.
Yeah, Sound Tiger.
So that's a tough bounce.
So who's your West pick, Trevor?
West?
Be smart here, Trevor.
Colorado's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's mine.
Colorado's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. The battle of Alberta is going to be nice.
Yeah, that's tonight.
You got I don't know. It's all they're all hype.
Noah?
I'm gonna go with Tampa, Colorado final.
That's
just see what happens.
Yeah,
they're two wagons.
Yeah, absolutely. Really intense series. I'm just a little bit past Red Deer, so I'm literally in the cleavage of the Battle of Alberta. So both teams have to travel up and down right through my town, in order to do it. If they're not flying, and they probably won't be, they'll probably be busing. But the police here actually in town told us to be careful on the highways. If your team loses, don't flip off the other team. If you see somebody with an Oilers flag or a Flames flag, they don't want to be pulling people over for street fights and stuff. So it gets pretty wild out here. The rivalry is intense. Listen, Trevor, Noah, I really thank you guys for coming on the show. We want to have you guys back on it again a couple times here maybe over the summer. See how the off season's going and where you guys are at mentally going into the new year. On behalf of Christian, myself, and Jay Vanderhoff, who's not on right now, he's in the middle of doing a job interview. Hopefully he scores this one. Thank you once again for coming on the show, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.
Thank you for having us. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. Definitely a blessing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Have a great one.
Yeah.